Hey, DeltaMu here, and I want to talk about what is probably my favorite month of the year. It's January. But what is January? Well, before I get there, I want to talk about a little bit of backstory of how I found January. A couple years back, I knew some illustrators, cartoonists that would partake in this event called Inktober. And if you're not familiar with that, it's a month-long event in October where these people would make an illustration with ink for every day of the month. I believe there was prompts involved with it too. And what was a really cool thing is it kind of pushed them to do things that they may have not normally done, and just to make every day, which is I just thought was a really cool thing. So I had to look around, and then I found January. It's a 31 long day event all throughout January where participants make a song or jam and they post it online with a hashtag JAMuary, maybe attaching the year on there too. And then it's some really cool stuff. So what do you need? Not much really. You just need your instrument of choice. It could even just be your voice, and then some way to record it. Even if it's something as simple as your phone. I would show you mine, but that's what I'm recording with right now. Yeah, you could use gear too, but use what you got. Keep it simple, go over the top, whatever you feel like is something you want to do. That's part of the fun. You make it what you want to. So I guess that carries us on to why do I like January? One thing that some people could argue on, but let me explain a little bit, is I love how it gets you into a schedule. By doing something every day for 31 days straight, you kind of build a habit. You just want to create something every day. I really liked that. Before, I felt like when I was going to record something or play something, I had to have an idea first, and then I would put it down. But with January, as it taught me, is just put myself in front of the instruments, the gear, and the ideas will flow. You just have to kind of get used to that routine, and January is a great way to do it. Another great thing is you get connected to like a community. So when you're posting your videos or your audio clips, wherever you're posting it, and you put a hashtag on it, people are going to see it, and you're going to see other people's stuff. So it's kind of cool. I love following other people, seeing what they're doing. It's so inspirational. Some people may see your stuff, say like, "Hey man, that stuff is rad. Keep it up." You don't know. It's really nice to be kind of part of a community, get some feedback on stuff. So yeah, moving on to the next thing that is great about January. It's a good excuse to use some gear you haven't used in a while. The stuff that's been building up some dust. I would wipe dust off these, but I make sure they're clean. But yeah, I have a collection of guitars, banjos, and stuff that I don't use too often. But every January, I try to use them. And, I get different stuff that I normally wouldn't make with these things out of them. So it's nice to pull them out and find an alternative inspiration. On the note of inspiration, you might have to move on to exploration as well. Another great thing about January. Doing something for 31 days, trying to be creative for 31 days, yeah, it can get a little bit exhausting. You may do your same thing over and over, and I don't know, maybe you get sick of doing what you normally done. Maybe you realize that, like, hey man, I'm just doing the same thing over and over. So to spice things up, you're gonna look around, maybe do a different genre, different tempos, different instruments, something new. You're gonna go out there and try to pull inspiration from wherever you can. Talking about exploration, maybe explore some of those samples you downloaded some time ago that you never got to. Good time to check it out. Maybe you got some software gear. Check that out too. All right, moving on to the next point. January is a great way to build confidence. Before, I just never wanted to share my work with anyone. It always had to be perfect, whatever that was. But with January, you're kind of on a time schedule. You work, school, you got band practice, whatever you're doing. Sometimes you don't have a lot of time at the end of the day. I know sometimes it's just like an hour, and you just gotta do something. So you know, with an hour's time, you're not going to make the most polished work. It's expected. You know, no one's going to make a masterpiece in an hour. So, you sit down for an hour, just jam. It's January after all. And then just put your work out there. And then by putting these things out there, knowing that people aren't expecting full, complete, polished songs, it's going to give you some confidence that you can put your work out there and people will like to receive it. And that kind of reminds me of something I heard someone say before, and it was something along the lines is there's no bad material out there. The only bad material is the material that you don't put out there because it never gets a chance to be liked or not. So you never know. Sometimes you just gotta let the little birds out of the nest and see if they fly or not. Some will, some don't. But you just have to push and see. On the note of time constraints, you might even pick up a habit of doing things a bit quicker. If you only got an hour or two, hey, you don't have time to shift through all these presets, twiddle your filter just right, or, whatever behind details you think you need to do. Sometimes you just gotta do broad strokes and then work out finer details as you go. Kind of like a painting or a sculpture, you don't chip away tiny little pieces at a time. You take off some big pieces, get a rough shape, and just polish it from there. So you kind of take that approach with music too. Do some big moves first, and then if you need to, and then you can work on the details towards the end. Yeah, and by the end of January, you're gonna have 31 jams or songs to work off of. So that's material it could possibly make into publishable material. It's great, right? There's definitely a handful of songs I have out there that definitely started as JAMuary songs, so maybe you might have a few JAMuary tunes that end up being your next banger. And then I also picked up some skills doing JAMuary that I didn't quite think I was going to pick up. So as I was doing JAMuary, I was posting them on Instagram and YouTube. So that involved images of some sort and a video to accompany it. It could have just been the title of the track and some image moving in the background, but I never really did any kind of video or photo editing before. So as I did JAMuary, I slowly picked up those skills. So yeah, it started something as simple as just moving images in a title, and then I picked up little skills here and there and be like, oh, I want to improve it like 1% this time, or maybe I found a trick here that I wanted to try out. So then I can get things to kind of beat match with the music. So on top of doing something musical, I also picked up some other useful skills that I now use for YouTube or Instagram now. And before I didn't really like doing any of that, and now it's kind of fun. So who knows? You could pick up some other skills that you didn't think that you were into or were good at. Okay, and then of course with anything good, there's got to be bad. Of course, right? Of course. So what would I say is bad about JAMuary? Well, for 31 days, you're blocked to making jams or songs. If you got other projects that you're working on, other things you're doing, they may have to be put on the back burner. You may not pay enough attention to other things that you should be. I know for me, sometimes, some things around me get a mess. I'd rather make a tune. So after the month after, I have to do a bit of catch up. So that's something you may have to consider or prep for. Yeah, and then, on top of that, talking about not having enough time, I remember one year, I was still in a band at the time, so I would go to work, I'd go to band practice, come home, and then I'd do a jam when I really should have been sleeping, and I just felt so tired. But that kind of was a good thing in a way. Those days I really didn't want to do it. I pushed myself to do it, and it kind of just, I don't know, works on the willpower a bit. It was rough to go through, but Yeah, I think it had some good at the end of it. All right, and then maybe I should finish up with some tips. Um, First one I would say is working on a computer, a DAW or something, or yeah, I guess even hardware. Make sure you saved often. You know, you got a sequence going on. Make sure you save. In the beginning, I was working on pretty much uh, a super powered not laptop, a tablet, that a faux laptop. So it was prone to crashing a lot. There was times I would spend, I don't know, an hour or two or something making something, and then it would crash and I'd lose everything. Everything. I would have to start from scratch, and it was the most defeating thing ever. But I was so dedicated to JAMuary, I still did it, but it sucked. Just because I couldn't hit Control S a few times. I almost do it by instinct now, almost like every 5 minutes. I don't even know. But if you don't have that habit already, pick it up. A bit of advice. Try to keep things easy. The first time I did it, I went in with a goal of trying to make complete songs because I had a problem of not completing anything. I'd make a loop, however long it was, and be like, yeah, that's cool. And that was it. So for the first January, I made a strong point to try to finish songs, make a habit of completing things, and it worked out. It worked well. It was just one of those times I just didn't have a lot of time to put into the music, so very exhausted. Oh my god, thinking about it. So yeah, just try to keep things easy. Just jam. You know, it is January. Have fun with it. That's really the only rule. Well, I would say that's the guideline, is have fun. There are no rules. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Have fun. And as I said earlier, time can be of the essence. So trying to make things perfect, you're gonna have to throw that mindset out, possibly, and just learn to just go with the flow and be happy with what is. There's plenty of times I put something out there that I thought was just like, oh, that's lame. I don't like it, and I got feedback on it, and people are like, yo, that's cool. I didn't think so, but hey, yeah, hell yeah, dude. Glad you're into it. Yeah, and then also don't be afraid to push yourself creatively. Like I said before, you know, maybe try some new instruments, maybe play new key that you normally don't play. I know I love D and like G, or like those are like my two go-to. Hate C. I never play C. I don't know. I don't like it playing it on keys. I'll play it on whatever guitar, but I don't know. Whatever. Crazy. But yeah, so during January, I'll try some other ones. I'll try the dreaded C. And another great thing would be test your gear out before January. Definitely had times where well, I used to live stream them, and you know, I would sit down, I'd be going through my jam thinking everything's great, and wasn't recording anything, or you know, I'm streaming and I can't get anything to record on the computer. You know, I can't do music. You never know. You just prepare. You don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to fix your gear when you could be jamming out. All right, and yeah, I think that's what I got to say for January for now. So my last question is, are you going to partake in January? Well, if so, you should probably leave your information down in the comments below. Yeah, your YouTube channel, your Instagram. That's where I'm at. So if you're there, I'll follow you. I would love to see what you guys do. If you want to follow me, I'll have my information down somewhere, or maybe somewhere around here. I don't know. But yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys do. As for now, that's it. Have a good one, and I'll catch you around January.